All right, Hastings, you know the drill. If it's June, that means it's Dairy Month. And with me, I've got a special guest, Brenna Connelly. Brenna, what makes you a dairy expert?
So I am serving as the 67th Princess K of the Milky Way, and that means I'm a Goodwill Ambassador for Minnesota's 2,700 dairy farm families.
Oh.
So throughout the month of June, I get to celebrate all things dairy just like you guys.
I don't know about you, Hastings, but I am excited. We've got a special recipe from Brenna and two that I'm going to share with you and teach Brenna how to make. So let's get started. All right, first things first. We're gonna start with my recipe. You gotta wait, Brenna, sorry. We're gonna start with some oven fried chicken. All right, so this is really nice because we're not gonna make a big mess. Well, I'll make the mess, but I'll let you stay clean because you're the princess. So in front of you, we've got all the stuff that we're gonna use to fry our chicken. So I'll give you this bag. And the first thing that we're gonna add is a half a cup of flour. We're gonna toss it in. Then we're gonna add a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and a teaspoon and a half of paprika. So your first task can be to mush that all together. So what we're gonna be doing is kind of cheating, and we're gonna be making fried chicken, but in our oven. So in order to make that happen, we're going to use melted butter, and I bet you know quite a bit about butter.
I do.
Now, for people from Hastings that aren't aware, why do maybe you know a lot about butter?
So every year there are 10 finalists for Princess K of the Milky Way, and so those 10 finalists, along whoever is crowned Princess K of the Milky Way, they get their likenesses sculpted in a 90-pound block of butter, which is a lot of butter. And so in August, I got my very own likeness sculpted in a 90-pound block of butter, and it is still sitting in my freezer at home.
Oh,
yes.
Do you have any plans for how you might use this?
My family wants to have a corn on the cob kind of feed with that, and then we're going to use it to bake some cookies and then give the rest to our local food shelf.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
So it's not 90 pounds, but I had a half a cup of melted butter in here. So I'm just coating the sides. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be the clean hands. I'm gonna be the messy hands. You get to be the clean hands. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna put the melted butter on the flip side of the chicken. We actually have a whole chicken here. So this recipe will be enough to fry a whole chicken. So if you hold the bag open, I will put that in there, and then you can kind of roll that around, get it coated the best that you can. So I'm guessing last year was a little bit different because the state fair wasn't kind of what we think of with the state fair. Have you gotten much of a chance to go and greet and talk with people this year?
Yes, so at the beginning I had a private coronation when I was Crown Princess K, and then my butter sculpting day was pretty quiet. It was just a few family and friends, but I was greeted with lots of news crews and lots of interviews, so it was still fun and exciting to be in that butter booth. And I've got to do a lot of things over Zoom and virtually with classrooms. I know one book reading I did reached 30 classrooms at once. So I have this unique opportunity to kind of talk with lots of classrooms at once and get my same messages out and still have those fun activities. And now for National Dairy Month, we've been really busy, and I've been out and about and on the road getting to talk with people. So it's definitely been fun and exciting.
So you said you've gotten to share a lot of messages with people. What kind of things do you hope people find out about the dairy industry, or dairy farmers, I should say?
Yeah, so my main goal is to just help people understand what dairy farmers do and share the story of Minnesota dairy farmers. So I hope they understand that all of their dairy products that they enjoy at their house are local, and they come from the farmers who care about their animals and the land that they work on. Princess K gets to do a lot of fun things. So on top of classroom visits, I get to go to town festivals, parades, different things. I conduct a lot of media interviews, so I get to talk with people from a wide variety of ages, all the way from those classroom visits to nursing home visits and all of those. So I get to talk to people of all ages about dairy and why we all love dairy.
Wow. Well, this recipe has just one dairy ingredient, but don't worry, Hastings, there's a lot more coming your way. So while we've been visiting, we've got all of our chicken covered. And what I've got here is I've got a 9x13 pan. I put more butter on the inside to help fry it up. I put it in skin side down. What we're gonna do is we've got our oven already preheated to 400 degrees. We're gonna put the chicken in for 30 minutes like this. After 30 minutes, we're gonna flip it so it can be crispy on both sides, and that's it. Brenna, this first recipe, over just like that. It's a breeze. But I think we should show Hastings your special recipe.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, so we've got our chicken frying in the oven, and I'm excited because Brenna is responsible for our side dish. So what are we making?
So today we have cheesy hash browns. And so this is one of my family's favorite recipes. It's a staple at all of our holiday gatherings. And what I like about it is it's super good and it's super easy to make. So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Awesome. So I'm guessing we're starting with hash browns, and you
Yes.
had me get 20 ounces of hash browns for you. So how are we gonna cheese these up?
Yes, so we have all of our ingredients set out and we just get to mix them all together. So to start, we have 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese.
Nice.
And we're just gonna put them all in the bowl together. And then we have a 1/4 cup of chopped onions.
Nice. Get a little zing in there.
And then we have some butter. So we are adding another dairy product to these cheesy hash browns. So we have a 1/4 cup melted butter. And then we have 1 can of cream of chicken soup.
And if it kind of gets goopy, I gave you a rubber scraper if you need it.
Awesome.
Oh, it
There we
escaped.
go.
It is ready to be a cheesy hash browns.
And then 1 more dairy food because we have to have it packed with dairy for National Dairy Month. We have a 3/4 cups of sour cream.
Oh, this looks fantastic. You've got a lot of dairy in there. So
Yes.
if someone's trying to be healthy, like how much dairy should they be having?
Yes, so an average person should consume 3 servings of dairy each and every day. And what I love about dairy is how many different varieties we can kind of mix together. So we could have milk with our cereal in the morning, cheese as a snack on the go, and yogurt with another meal. So we can kind of pick and choose how we want, but 3 servings is what we recommend a day.
Gotcha. And I'm guessing then we just kind of stir it all up together?
Yeah, we just put all of our ingredients together and mix it together.
Oh, well, this is Aprons optional approved because this is an easy one, which is fantastic with June heating up. So you talked about like 3 servings of dairy, and you've got like your milk, your cheese, your yogurt you all mentioned. Like, is it one of those things where like a serving of milk is the same as a serving of yogurt, or how do people kind of figure out like what's healthy to eat?
Yeah, so all dairy products are healthy because they all contain 9 essential nutrients, and those are nutrients that our bodies need. But all serving sizes kind of depend, and you can just find that out by reading the label. So a standard cup of milk is 1 cup, and that's 1 serving. But it kind of depends on the size for yogurt and cheese and those kind of things. So you just read the label to find your 1 serving.
Gotcha. So we're doing pretty well with all the different things that we have in our
Yes.
in our cheesy potato recipe. So you're for sure getting at least a serving of dairy from
For
eating
sure.
these. So those look delicious. So then what I did to help Brenna out is I have a 2-quart baking dish, and what I've done is I already put cooking spray in there because we don't want it to stick, because we want to eat all this delicious dairy goodness. So then I'm guessing we just need to transfer it into the bowl.
Yeah, so once you have it all mixed together, kind of like this, we just transfer it into our bowl and it's just ready for the oven.
Ooh, awesome. So we'll transfer it in, and she gave me an insider tip. We're gonna put cornflakes on the top of this for that crispy goodness. So we have a 1.5 cups of cornflakes, and I'm just gonna squeeze them to break them up a little bit so we have a nice topping for it. And then we've got 2 tablespoons of melted butter. And we're all about being sensible with our dishes, so can I borrow your rubber scraper?
Yes.
And then, does it matter? I'm guessing I just want to get these coated with the butter?
Yeah, just a little coating of butter on them.
Gotcha. So then, once we put this on the top, how are we gonna cook it? Obviously in the oven, but any temperatures or times we need to know about?
So we will bake them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. And we'll know when the cheese will start bubbling and our cornflakes will be a little golden brown, so.
What I'm gonna tell you is if you wanna stick this in the oven with the chicken's going at 400 degrees right now. We can put this in for about 25 to 30 minutes and they'll time out perfectly. So we've got our 2 first dishes finished. I've got another one for you, Brenna.
Awesome.
All right, we have your delicious potatoes now cooking in the oven. So we're gonna have actually a cool side dish to go with this as well. And we're gonna go with creamy corn salad. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to dice up our peppers. I gave you a beautiful orange one, I have a red one. So we can just make these into nice small dices. And so I know, Brenna, you said a lot about how that you get to do all of these different things being Princess K, but how does somebody even become like a dairy princess?
Yeah, so dairy princesses are at the county level, and so at your county level, you have to have a passion for dairy, and so you don't have to live on a dairy farm though. So I actually grew up 2 miles down the road from my cousin's dairy farm, so I did not live on the farm, but you just have to have an interest in dairy, work on a dairy farm, or show dairy at your local county fair. And so then each county has a little bit of a different process, but you just kind of run to become a dairy princess through an interview process, and then after that, Princess K is the next level up because instead of representing a county of dairy farmers, you represent all of Minnesota dairy farmers.
Oh, wow.
So then there is a special interview process where they select the 10 finalists for Princess K of the Milky Way, and then another judging process brings on Princess K of the Milky Way.
Got it. And so you said that you live down the road from your cousin's farm. So then does that mean you work on that farm and help them out?
Yes, so as a high schooler, I became an employee on the cousin's dairy farm, and so my main job on the farm is calf care. So I focus on the nutrition and all of the care that goes in with feeding our young stock, which will become the active cows on our farm as they grow older.
So we are looking for about a cup each of our red and our orange bell pepper. If you're a fan of more of that green pepper vibe, you can totally do it. But just so that you are aware when you're picking out your peppers for this, we're gonna put a jalapeno pepper in here as well, but don't let it startle you if you're a person that thinks of peppers as being spicy. We've taken the seeds out of both of our peppers, whether it's our bell pepper or our jalapeno pepper. All right, so now we have our peppers all nicely diced up. So we're going to take 2 pounds of frozen corn. It's pretty dang simple. And then we're going to put in our diced peppers. If you want your, oh, look at you fancy pants with your knife. And then, like I said, we're gonna add in that jalapeno pepper. I've just got 1 jalapeno pepper here that's diced fine as well. You can see the beautiful colors starting to happen. We're gonna add a little bit more with a 1/4 cup of a purple onion. And now this will make you happy, Brenna, because we're gonna start adding our dairy to this.
Awesome.
So we're gonna make this our creamy corn salad by adding 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. This, Brenna, will not make you as happy because now we need a 1/4 of a cup of mayo, but that's just gonna help with stabilizing our salad. So awesome. The sour cream's the important part. So we're just gonna easily combine this all together and just do that by stirring it to cover everything. So Brenna, if somebody wants Princess K to come and visit their group, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so it's super easy to request a visit from Princess K, and I go to a wide variety of activities, so I can pretty much go about anywhere. But you go to the Midwest Dairy website, and if you scroll down to find Minnesota and the Princess K program, there's a request a visit form on the website, and you just fill it out, and that's how you get things added to the schedule.
Oh, that's super cool. And then if you're maybe just a person that's curious, does Princess K have any kind of social media that people could follow?
Yes, so I am active on both Instagram and Facebook, so if you're ever wondering what I do, the different kind of events I'm traveling to, and want to get some more dairy knowledge, I make posts weekly on both Instagram and Facebook, so if you go to Minnesota Princess K and give it a follow, you can follow along on my journey.
Nice. So last thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna season it up. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and we have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then unless it's humid and doesn't want to leave the container. So now all we're gonna do is stir it together, and then while our potatoes and while our chicken finishes in the oven, we're just gonna put this in the refrigerator so it gets nice and chilled. So
awesome.
Let's take a look at this delicious meal we've made. So we've got a delicious dairy-filled meal that I think most dairy farmers will be pretty proud of.
I think so too.
We've got all different things from yogurt to sour cream to cheese to, I don't know, pretty much every dairy food you talked about. Throw some ice cream for dessert, and this is pretty good.
For sure.
So one more time, Brenna, if people want to get in touch with you or follow you, how can they stay connected?
Yeah, so if you'd like to request a visit, I encourage you to go to Midwest Dairy's website and scroll down to Minnesota and the Princess K program to find the Request a Princess form, and then also follow along with my adventures on both Instagram and Facebook throughout the month of June and the whole entire year.
So I think we should snack on this before you have to go home and feed your baby calves.
For sure.
So remember, Hastings, the apron's optional,
but the flavor isn't.
So we've got a delicious dairy-filled